science will reach a point where for every year you are alive, science can extend your life by another year. So that's called the escape velocity theory. By then, every year you're alive, extension of 1 year, extension of 1 year, we will have reached the maximum human lifespan, which is believed to be around 120 years. So the oldest living human is 122. That was
Yes.
recorded. So they're saying it's possible for every one of us, because we share the same DNA, to live a maximum of 120, right? So here's the problem. Have you ever seen a 100-year-old
Yes,
man
exactly.
or a woman, right? If you've ever seen somebody who is close to the century mark,
Yeah, and still function properly.
yeah, you know you won't want to go there, because no matter how good your diet is, your exercise is, our bodies are genetically designed to break down. There's a glass ceiling we cannot break. Our bodies will physically deteriorate. And in the next 12 to 15 years, almost everyone will live long enough to watch their bodies physically decay while they are still alive. That is not a very, very pleasant thought,
Still
right?
alive and you can be sick too, right?
Well, yes. Actually,
Hitting that mark like 100 plus
Look.
and you're sick.
if you reach 100 without any scientific intervention, there's no way you're going to leave this world perfectly healthy. So when they say healthy aging, there's no such thing. Because aging, by definition, is the loss of health. The only difference between an old person and a young person is that the young person has full function,
Oh.
all of its physical functions
so-
working
that's-
properly,
that's perfect
and the older
definition,
person does not, right? So the older person's immune system is much, much lower. That's why they were the first to die with COVID, right? The young person can smoke, and the chances of getting cancer are relatively slim, right? So here's one way to look at it. If you're 21 and I ask you to smoke a pack of cigarettes every single day for a year, every single day, one pack of cigarettes, I will increase your risk of getting cancer by sixfold. Sevenfold, meaning you're 7 times more likely to get cancer than the next person.
Okay.
Right? Turning 65, even if you have never smoked a cigarette in your entire life, increases your risk of developing cancer by 1,000-fold.
Imagine.
Right?
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So really, when you talk about disease, like heart disease, like stroke, like cancer, these are the leading causes of death. They're not really diseases. They're just the end stage of life, right? So heart disease begins in your early 20s. So they've already proven this. They've taken autopsies of car crash victims or suicides.
Okay.
They looked at the heart. They can already see the beginning of atherosclerosis or the plaques
There's
around
already
the-
problems.
It's already started. It's just that it takes 40, 50 years or 60 years or 70 years, depending on your lifestyle, for it to become a full-blown heart attack.
That's
so when
so
they
interesting. I never heard
yeah,
of
yeah.
such thing. Yeah.
So when they say this person died of a natural cause, there's no such thing. Either the heart failed, or the kidney failed, or the liver failed, an organ failed, right? When it happens, if you're 45, they say that's a heart attack. But if your heart fails at 95, oh, that's from natural causes. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
too old, right? You're just too old. So without the intervention of science, we will all become frail and sickly and diseased with time, right? The good news is there are now interventions that are coming out that slowly, we believe will be able to reverse human aging. It's already happening now. The molecules are already here. They're just testing it some more, but it's already here. Most of the public, they've never heard of these interventions, but we can talk about some of them if you like.
Wait a
Yes,
minute. It means
Right.
if you're 80 years old and you go through that procedure, you can begin to age backwards?
Right.
Is that the way to put it? Or-
Here's the caveat. They're saying in the next 50 to 100 years that's possible, not in our lifetime.
Okay.
Not in our lifetime. All of these interventions that I'm talking about, I don't want to be grim, but if you're under 65 or if you're over 65, it might be too late, right, to get any significant benefit. But for people your age, right, the implications is tremendous, because the last thing you want to do is not realize you're going to live to 100 and not prepare for it. It's like knowing you have to retire at 65 and not have any savings whatsoever. You're 64, zero savings.
Yeah.
You know you have to stop working at 65. You're not magically going to generate what you need to retire in a year's time, right? So it's the same way here. We are going to live long enough to watch our bodies decay, to wake up with pain, to wake up with frailty, and it's a very, very scary thought.
Yeah,
If you
getting
have
scared
relative, right? You don't want to have to be, you don't want to have to be carried to the toilet, and then have somebody change your diaper. Oh,
You know, like
that's-
our dad always says,
Yeah.
I don't want to live that long and become extremely useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he says.
So
right?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. And here's what I'm going to tell your dad, right? He may not have a choice in the matter.
Yeah.
Imagine this. If in 15 years' time he is still alive, right? No matter how sick he is. And then we invent technology that can keep him alive even though he's sick. Because we do that all the time, right? We have medicines that can keep people alive for a few years longer. You have the ventilators. You have all of these machines
Yes.
that even if you're in a coma, you're still alive, right? If these interventions are available, even if he wants to die, do you think the kids will let him?
Well, of
Right?
course
If you-
not.
right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
the doctor tells you, we may be still able to save him, you're going to,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yes.
So it might not even be your choice, right? You're 100, you want to go
Yeah.
because you're in constant. It might not even
Yeah,
be your
but
choice.
your loved ones want to
Yeah.
keep you.
Exactly,
Yes.
Yeah.
exactly. So the most responsible thing you can do is to learn about this, learn how to age properly so that you're not a burden on your kids, right? So because like I'm 52, my daughter is 5, and I have a son on the way, right?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's the reason why I'm so dedicated to this, I'm so passionate, is because I don't want them taking care of me when they're 30, they're beginning their family life, and they have to take care of me. A lot of the interventions that we're going to be talking about, because they're very new, they're very expensive. That's the sad reality. Any new technology in its infancy is only for the very few, right? And a lot of people will balk at spending that money. A lot, right? Because it's a lot. But here's an interesting statistic. 90% of people will spend their entire life savings in the last 5% of their life trying to buy back the health that they lost, right? I mean,
Yeah, so invest
about it.
early.
right. Think about it. You're going to spend the money.
Anyway.
You are going to spend the money. And it's not even about the money. A lot of the things that we're talking about is free. The things that we
Yes,
were discussing.
yeah.
But a lot of people are not going to do that. They're not going to do resistance training. They're not going to do the walks. They're not going to eat clean.
Yeah.
They're not going to sleep.
But I think it's the human thing that
Right.
we don't accept change instantly. It has
Yeah.
to be through a dramatic event
Yes.
until we
Yes,
accept it.
like extreme stress or trauma or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah.
Exactly. So either you choose to change or you will be forced to.
Yes.
You know, in our clinics, 90% of the people, when they come to me because they're already hypertensive, they're diabetic, they've suffered a heart attack, they have cancer, right? Which could have been prevented 20 years ago, right? If you'd have started this now, what I'm going to tell you to do,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have gotten to this point.
Yeah, and that's hard to hear though.
Yes.
That's hard.
But they
Very
come
hard
to
to
me because they know it's either I do something about it now or I die within the next 5 years. So, and yet even though I'm saying this, even though it's very, very, the benefits of staying in your physical prime or close to physical prime for as long as possible. Can you imagine having that body still 20 years from now?
Yeah.
Still being able to do what it is that you love to do,
Yes.
whether it's hiking.
It affects
or-
your whole life, right?
It affects your whole life.
Your
The minute you begin
relationships, everything. Yeah.
The minute you begin to lose mobility, the minute you begin to lose functionality, your quality of life begins to plummet, right? And most people will not pay the price now. But I promise you, because I've seen this enough times in
Yes.
10 years of doing this, the piper will be paid.
So if you enjoyed this video and you want to watch another one, then click here.
And if you would like to watch the full episode, click here.